Well, the Quincy Democratic City Committee's 35th annual breakfast is coming up Sunday, October 15th at 10 a.m. at the Sons of Italy Hall here in Quincy. And there'll be a special guest appearing. We have the chair of the citywide committee, Alicia Gardner, and also the MC for the event this year, Norfolk County Treasurer Mike Bellotti. Good to see you guys both. Thanks for coming over.
Good to be back with you.
Yeah, here we are.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a little bit, Alicia.
It has.
Yeah.
It has.
But it's been busy for the committee for certain.
We have.
Yeah.
We've had a busy fall already this year, and we had a very successful candidates night with almost all of every candidate for elected office in Quincy, from school committee to city council to mayoral, and found it very successful in large part due to QATV.
Yes, we're
You
happy to
streamed it
partner.
live, right? And people have found it that it was very effective.
For folks who don't know, let's do a little recap of what the Quincy Democratic City Committee is.
Sure. The City Committee has been around since the early 1960s. It is a committee chartered by the state in that in order to be a member on the presidential primary every 4 years, you are elected to be a member of the City Committee. And how that happens is by wards. As most of our residents know, we have 6 wards in the city, so 6 wards have a committee, and each committee for that ward has a chair, and you get on the committee by signing that nomination paper saying that you'll be on that ballot in the presidential primary, which is usually around the 1st of March. We're actively looking for people as we speak.
Just going to say, March 2024 is coming soon.
Exactly,
so, yeah,
and
okay.
these nomination papers must be in November.
Okay.
So we are actively looking for people who are interested in being members to come forward and tell us what ward you're in, and we would set you up with that ward chair, and you have to sign the nomination papers, and you see your name on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
And what are the responsibilities of a member? What do you have to do?
Sure. Well, the responsibilities of the committee is to support our Democratic candidates and issues. And the way we support them is we will hold candidates nights. Now, this one is a municipal, the one I just referenced,
Yep.
and that's a nonpartisan
Right.
one. So but as a civic organization, we still felt we should offer this to the Quincy residents, even though we are the Democratic Committee.
Sure.
All candidates were invited to come, regardless of party.
Great.
But then we do hold candidates night during the state elections, if
Like
necessary.
For the governor's election?
For the governor's elections. Last year, it was very successful because we partied with the town of Braintree and Weymouth and Hingham, and actually held it in the auditorium at Braintree Town Hall, and it was extremely successful, and they met an awful lot of the statewide candidates at that event.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Michael, are you involved in the Quincy Democratic City Committee?
Yeah, not as much as I should be.
You do a great
So,
job.
but
He's a great support to us.
I was just thinking as you spoke, sometimes you get reflective in life. And when I first got involved in city politics and democratic politics, it was really through the city level, running as a delegate, through one of the wards, Ward 3, which used to be include, I don't know if it still does, 125 Granite. That's where we voted.
Yeah.
So Steve Durkin and I put together a slate. And we ended up going to the convention on a non-election year. But for me, at that point, that age, even though my father was in politics,
Sure.
I've kind of been around it, but never really kind of did my own thing. It was incredible. It kind of inspires you when you're young or when you're new to it to be included with this group of people, particularly back then when there was maybe a little bit more throughout the country and the city. There were more Democrats and Republicans. Now that unenrolled is becoming a thing.
Right.
We got to convince them that where they really are, with their roots.
Right.
And to be working with union guys and folks that cared about progressive issues and education. Larry Creation was one of the early guys that I kind of followed into city politics in terms of the Democratic Party. So I think
He and Chuck Phelan
Yeah, and Chuck
actually
Phelan.
founded this
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
breakfast 35 years ago.
Oh, all right.
That's
Okay.
right. And Chuck and I are still around, although he'll be gone in January. Who knows if he shows up in a different iteration. But it was a great entrance for me, because once you get elected a delegate, or once you see your name on that ballot,
Yes.
Right.
for even though it's something a little bit esoteric to a lot of people,
Yeah.
it's exciting to know, wow, geez, I went through a process.
Right.
Right.
Folks
Yeah.
voted for me. Granted, it's a slate.
Right.
But it gave you that kind of that energy and excitement to kind of, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
And does it also give you a feeling of more responsibility to the people
Yes.
that elected you?
I never thought in terms of, you know, I always said I was a Democrat growing up, but I never thought in terms of, okay, what are really the issues and the policies
Right.
that this party stands for, and where do I align with them?
Right.
And then what is my responsibility to push those?
Yes.
And for me, I think the biggest part was the union piece. You know, once I got involved in the Democratic Party, I never noticed that my neighbors were bus drivers, you know, worked at the National Grid, and then it wasn't lost on me that, geez, union issues build the middle class.
Yeah.
It's the unions that build the middle class.
Yeah.
And if we don't support unions, even if you're not, my son's in the plumbers union, but I really wasn't ever in a union like that, trades, and you're like, geez, these guys need our support because they're paying the taxes, they're spending money at the local stores, they're spending money on carpenters locally to
Yes.
build their houses out and stuff. They're involved, and they're active in the community. So that was the biggest part for me, how important the unions were.
Yes.
You know, in
Yeah.
terms of a major component of the party, and
Recognizing that, yeah.
and then I ran for state committee man.
Yeah, I remember that.
I stopped running, and Pat McDermott ran and won. He still is, I believe.
He is.
So yeah, it's been quite a ride. You know, it's been many years. I kind of get active, then don't, then get active. Yeah.
Well, with the chairman here, you know, you've.
No, you can't.
So I
listen.
always keep this one in the loop because he has been a great supporter. As his father, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say, in always supporting the Quincy Dems and the Democratic Party as a whole.
Yes, yeah.
Call Michael up to get something done, and he gets it done for you.
How many members have you got now, Alicia? Just roughly.
Well, there are 35 members in each ward,
Oh,
so
okay.
there's 210.
Oh, okay.
In most wards, we do have a full complement.
Okay.
There are some wards that we don't have a full 35, but yeah, we're really pleased that we're keeping up with keeping our slates full through the 6 wards as a whole.
Sure.
It's difficult because, as Michael mentioned, a lot of people are unenrolling in a party and becoming unenrolled
But they're
as
still
a
kind of
voter.
Democrats. You know, they
Right.
might vote for the governor. The governor is one of those races where, I don't know, people break away from the party because we've had so many Republican governors. But other than that,
Yeah.
other than Blute and was it Turney or Torkelson, maybe all three were Republican congressmen. But that was like the only
Right,
aberration.
Yeah.
So I think people believe in still believe in the bread and butter issues.
How much do you think, though, that the national party influences the local level? You know, if they see something that the National Democratic Party is doing that they don't agree with.
Well, I think
did that
that's why
affect
so many
locally?
people have
Yeah.
left
I
the
think they've been
party
separated.
Yeah.
and have become. They're not changing to a different party.
Right.
They just don't want to be associated with the party right now.
Right, right.
And so they become unenrolled. But if I was a betting person, I would think that they probably tend to lean Democratic when they do have to go in and decide in the primary because you have to declare
Right.
one party or the other during a primary
Yes.
election. I bet a lot of them still pull the Democratic ballot,
Yeah, that's
but
interesting.
yeah, they just don't. And this is what's concerning of me. And I've spoken to our chair of our Mass Dems and asked to actually have him address that. Stephen Carrigan is going to be our guest speaker.
Oh, okay.
He just became the chair in April of this year. And I said, I really would like you to address the question about, well, why be in a party? Well, I just vote for the individual. Why is it important? Because I get that question.
I'm sure.
And I think I'd asked him to address that and to remind our members and the people in that room, exactly why we do what we do as Democrats.
Okay.
And why
But,
we
but
do.
you know, it's kind of a dichotomy because overwhelmingly the state elects Democrats. From the governor on down.
Yes.
Very few Republicans left in the Senate. I was a rep for 6 years in the
Right.
90s, and we had, not a lot of Republicans, but I think it's even less now. somehow on the state level, the unenrolls, either they stay at home, if they come out, they vote Democrat.
Right.
Because they're not identifying with the Republican Party in Massachusetts, because I don't know if there's that much of a distinction. You know, so they're like, well, you know, why vote for Democrat light when I can vote for a Democrat
I
that
see
can
what you're
get a
saying,
leadership
yeah.
position
Yeah.
and is more involved with the different interests that kind of the components of the Democratic Party.
Right.
It's an interesting thing. And then if the Republicans too conservative in the state, they have no shot.
Right.
I mean, Baker's an example of somebody that kind of walked that fine line, as was Romney, Welch, Cellucci.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So it's tough as a Republican now. You know, I think governors like their only shot if they have to put together a coalition that is razor thin in the margin.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting the way
But I also
the
want to say, and
process
maybe you can
works.
talk about Dan Hackett, but I just want to say, Alicia has, I'm not doing this gratuitously, it just hit me that you've been carrying the water for the Democratic Party for so many years. You have kept it together. It takes someone to do the work,
Yes.
you know?
Are there regular meetings, Alicia? Does the
Yes.
committee meet regularly? Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. There was a true resurgence in the interest of becoming a member of the Quincy Dems when when was the election? 2016, when Hillary lost to
Oh.
Yep.
Trump.
Yes.
And we really recruited quite a few young people.
Oh, really?
And with that, we meet every month, the second Tuesday of every month. Now, since the pandemic, we have been doing it via Zoom. We are talking about going back live, and NAGE, the National Association of Government Employees up on Bergen Parkway, were very generous in allowing us to use their facilities for our meetings every month. So we may go back there
Okay.
at some point.
Okay.
But yeah,
And
it's
so,
Let's talk about the breakfast.
Yes,
Against the
yes.
35th annual. It's coming up.
scrambled eggs,
Sun-
sausages. What else
Are
do I
you
know?
cooking, Mike?
I do pretty good scrambled eggs.
good, because I don't.
Put him to work in the kitchen then. October 15th, 10 a.m. at the Sons of Italy Hall, honoring Dan Hacker with the
Right.
Dennis F. Ryan Community Award. So tell us all about the event.
Sure, sure. I can't believe it's been 35 years to begin with.
Well, you were 10 when you started.
I was 10 years old when this whole thing. I didn't go
Very
back
mature
to
10-year-old.
the beginning, but we've been there since at least the
I've been there
Bryant Post. Remember
Oh yeah,
the Bryant Post?
oh wow, that used to be a big breakfast.
That used
You know,
to be
the
a huge
statewide
breakfast.
comes in. And
Sure.
Yeah, Teddy Kennedy came in,
Wow,
and that
okay.
was huge that year when he came in. And so, unfortunately, like every other club organization,
It's true. Yeah.
everything's been shrinking over the years. But we do hold it at the Sons of Italy this year. It begins at 10 a.m. And it ends at noontime.
Okay.
I am a real stickler for getting
Yes, I'll
us
keep it
in and
moving.
out.
Okay.
I'm the
and
MC.
out.
I'll keep it moving.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, but I do as well. I don't, because I recognize people have things to do. I'll never forget, God rest his soul, my vice chair for many a year was Archie Wahlberg.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he was my mentor, he and Rosemary,
Sure,
but he was my vice chair. And he would say to me when it was time to determine the date of the breakfast, because remember, the last 20 years we were pretty successful in our football games on Sunday.
Ah, yes.
And he'd say, whatever you do, not a Sunday at 1 o'clock if the Patriots are playing at home. You look for a different Sunday.
Well,
So we
I
always
think-
had to base it on the Patriots
yeah.
game.
This year, people might not be so interested
Yeah.
the way things are going so
Yeah,
far.
not
What
so
time
much
they playing?
anymore.
1 o'clock start?
Um,
They're away. I know that, right?
yes, they
Yeah.
are away. But I don't think it matters anymore.
No.
But
Well, 'cause
Archie
they're
would
not as
always be
good.
like, not a 1 o'clock game.
It's not us. It's them. They tanked.
Exactly. And he's like, not a 1 o'clock game, especially if it's home.
Okay.
Because people won't come.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah,
So
you're
you've stuck
right,
to
Archie.
that.
So I think of him when I
Yes.
pick my dates now.
He was a
But
legend.
he really was. But it's a wonderful event that
Rosemary.
all of our Democratic members are invited to,
Okay.
as well as our friends. And a lot of our friends are union friends. They're extremely generous because this is a fundraising event so that we can in the future raise money and participate in funding if necessary, a headquarters in the city, and
Which we've
different
done
things
before.
like that. Which we've, last year was the only year we didn't have a headquarters during a state election.
Is that
I
right?
hate to say
Yeah.
it, they didn't really need it.
We really didn't, and the space was very limited to even try to find
Oh.
room for it. But Ron Mariano also very graciously helped us with the establishing and help pay for that, as well as our other electeds, our Norfolk people, our state people, all helped out. And we all put our monies together to
Yep.
fund that
a good way to do it.
headquarters.
Yeah.
It's-
Tell us
But-
about the special guest, if you can, Ward 6 Chair Dan Hacker.
Well, he is our Dennis Ryan Community Award winner.
Okay.
Dennis Ryan was a gentleman, unfortunately, I never met, but he was an assistant clerk magistrate at the Quincy District Courts.
Okay.
And he was very fundamental because years ago, believe it or not, Quincy was a Republican city.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Ask Michael's father. He
Oh, yeah.
is well aware of what a Republican city, when he first ran for office,
Yes, yeah.
this was, right?
Yep, my
Michael?
father he ran for
DA.
DA in 1958,
Okay.
Yep.
knowing that he couldn't win. But his race somewhat illustrated, wow, we have a shot here. That was throughout Norfolk
Correct.
County. Because
Yeah.
especially
Right.
the towns like Wellesley, Needham, they were all Republican.
Yes.
And Quincy was let me think of the old, I think, who was the mayor, the Italian guy that was...
Oh,
he,
Della Chiesa.
he was Republican, wasn't he?
I believe, yes,
Yeah.
he was. He was.
But
Yeah.
so there was a lot of Republicans, and I don't think a lot of folks thought that they had a real shot, whether it was around Quincy, citywide, in a way that they found out, wow, we really do.
Right.
Plus, the city was changing, even the
Correct.
county was changing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
It's after
So
the
he
war,
lost that
everything
race,
changed.
but
Yeah.
Right.
it kind of opened up people's eyes. Wow, there's a shot
But it
here.
was
And
close.
It really,
Yeah.
Closer than they
Yeah.
thought, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because Dennis Ryan, there was a group of, back then it was men, not too many women
Yeah.
involved back in the day, that were Democrats that were turning the tide in this city. And between what Mr. Bellotti did and seeing that there was a possibility, and then along comes the presidential election
Right.
in JFK.
That changed everything.
And that
Across the country.
right,
Yeah.
but that changed the tide.
Yeah.
And
Especially in
these men,
Massachusetts, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
the city then became a Democratic
The,
city.
the mayor's father was so close to Kennedy's, I don't think he could do anything in Norfolk County, specifically Quincy, without talking to the mayor,
Right.
his father.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know that?
Who?
Like he was so close with John Kennedy,
Who was so
Tommy
close?
Koch's father.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
he was kind of sort of point person for the Kennedys.
Right.
Dick Koch. It was Dick Koch. It was Dennis Ryan. It was John Gillis.
Yeah, they were known as
And
the
those
the
are-
face of the young Democrats.
The Young Dems.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and Dennis was one of them. And when this breakfast was established,
Yep.
it was suggested, and they were thrilled to say, Dennis did, in his honor, because he had passed away, we'd like to establish this
I
community
see.
award.
Okay.
So it goes to an individual who has worked hard on behalf of the Democratic Party.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
our own city committee.
Okay.
Dan is a wonderful representative of that community award. He has been a member of our party since he was about 20 years for Ward 6.
Wow.
He currently serves as the Ward 6 chair
Okay.
and is very deserving of this award.
Very nice. So, how will the program run that morning, Alicia?
Sure.
What's the agenda look like? Or maybe the MC should tell us that.
I know. I'm interested too. How's this going to work?
Yes, yes. Well,
Thanks,
yeah,
Joe.
Yeah.
I need to hear this.
So,
Take notes.
I actually should have brought my program with me, but
Would have been helpful for me. See, she does all the work.
I told you not to worry.
Okay,
You're just
yeah.
you're just there for the pretty face, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just needed your pretty face.
I'll
You're
get my
a
toupee.
draw, Michael. You're a draw.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a drag.
Yeah.
Everybody's
I was gonna
heard
say
me. Here's the thing. I've been doing this for so long.
Yes.
All right. Not to pat myself, but for the point being, no.
Okay.
That I think people need to see someone else. And if you remember, Joe, last year, Michael Morrissey was
Yes.
gracious enough.
He was
And I
sitting in
think
that same chair with
I gotta
his
call
with his
Morrissey.
orange tie on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, I do remember.
And then Michael Morrissey style. He basically took over, which was
Of course
fun.
he does,
Which
yeah.
was absolutely fun.
That's good.
Works for me because I think it's refreshing and different to hear from someone else than me.
Okay, but what is the
And
program?
he
We're both
is
curious.
Yeah.
Very personable.
Okay, so 10
All
o'clock,
right,
what's
I'm
gonna
gonna
what's
get
gonna
to
happen?
that.
She's gonna get to it.
I'm going to get
It's
to
only
that.
Tuesday before. My
Well, you
fault.
know, Michael,
This one being not her.
this is going to be fun come Sunday.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. So with that, our welcoming remarks,
Yep.
our introduction of our elected officials, Norfolk County Sheriff will sing the national anthem,
Good.
and you'll be introducing a lot of these people.
Am I doing the welcome remarks? Is that me or you doing that? You should do
no,
that.
the
Yeah.
welcoming
We're meeting this out right
actually-
now, Jeff.
Yeah. No. The welcoming remarks from the city will come from our mayor.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
He will do that. As the mayor of the city, it's appropriate that I invite him and ask him.
Okay.
You know.
And
to
he accepted?
welcome. Yeah, always does.
Okay.
Every year. So with that, then we will break for our breakfast.
Yep.
And then we'll begin the program.
Okay.
And then Michael will be introducing Daniel and presenting him with the award. And Dan has, we always ask a member who would they like from their family or friends to speak on their behalf. And Dan has asked that I speak on his behalf.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'll never forget, when I first met Dan, he was very interested in becoming a delegate to the state convention. You asked earlier what members do.
Yes.
Anybody that's a registered Democrat can be a delegate to a convention,
Okay.
whether it's the state convention or run for national
Oh, all right.
convention. But it's the responsibility of the individual ward chairs to run these caucuses to get these people elected
I
as
see.
delegates.
Okay.
So that's up to the Quincy Dems committee.
Gotcha.
And then each of the wards do it. So Dan was new to the city, and he wanted to be a delegate to a convention. So he walked into our meeting for Ward 6, didn't know a soul, didn't know what the process was, and I went right over to him because I love to see a new face. Anytime we can add to our roster, the better we are. And he became a delegate, and he has been with us
That
ever
was 20
since.
years ago?
20 years
Wow.
ago.
What
20
like that?
years ago.
Okay.
So he's a great guy. He's retired. I call him our happy wanderer because if he doesn't stay too long lately, he's forever traveling. And I mean, he's traveling the world.
Good for him.
And he's, enjoying his retirement. But luckily, he's home, and we can honor him this
Good.
Sunday.
Very nice. Very nice. So tickets are needed, right, to go to the breakfast?
Tickets are needed.
Okay.
They are $40.
Okay.
You can buy a table. That's $400, and with that you get. We have an ad book, and to further help raise money, and you get a half a page ad, and you get on the sponsor board, and we really do, and a lot of our electeds do that for us, and it's much appreciated.
Very nice. Okay. Michael, you going to be talking about your current role as treasurer?
Hopefully not.
No.
They're not going to want to hear it.
It's a non-working day for you.
Let's put it this way. My other treasurer from my committee has yet to send a check for the ad book.
Oh.
So I don't want to talk about treasuring right now.
But you're good for it.
I'm good for it.
Yeah.
He's always been good for it. He's always been good. We do put this very nice ad book together, as
Sure.
I mentioned, and but the deadline's passed, Michael. So I don't know if you're
I'm
going to
gonna
get
blame my
that.
treasurer.
in.
The treasurer's blaming the treasurer.
What would you say to somebody who's considering joining the Democratic City Committee?
I would say reach out
Yeah.
to us personally,
Okay.
or anybody on this list. The website. Go on the website.
Absolutely.
If you just Google, you can find it.
QuincyDems.org.
Because we're looking for young people.
Okay. Now's the time.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Da-
there were times where I've kind of moved aside for different things, whether it's being on a slate, because you see somebody with more energy, younger than you, that brings
Right.
a different perspective.
Yes.
I'll always be around, and I get active when I can. But like Ward 6, a couple of us decided to, do everything
Step
to
back.
accommodate.
Right.
You don't want to discourage anybody young, because it's like when I was younger. If someone discouraged me, I might have walked away.
Right.
Absolutely.
You get a little bit.
Yeah.
befuddled.
Well, because I think
No, absolutely.
it can feel a little intimidating. All right.
Well,
and
especially if you don't know anything about politics,
that's
the
my
process.
point.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it can feel
Right.
intimidating. But everybody started somewhere,
Right.
you know. And I really encourage people, if they're interested in the Democratic Party and working, you know, to elect the right Dems like our president.
Right. And, or even if they just
On
want to bring
down.
their voice, you know, their perspective.
Well, this is a
Right.
great opportunity because the chair of the state party is going to be your,
Yeah, I
your
mean,
guest speaker.
I'm
Yeah.
interested. He's a great guy. He
Yeah.
ran for lieutenant governor. Very sharp guy.
Right.
2 years back.
Yeah, he was Martha Coakley. Was that in '04, I think?
Yeah, I think it was
Time
with Coakley.
flies.
Was
He
that that
was
long ago?
the
Yeah.
nominee for the lieutenant governor.
Okay.
But he was an aide to Ted Kennedy for 10 plus years. And has always been involved, always.
Yeah. So you can get some great historical perspective from him.
Absolutely,
at
right.
this event.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think he'll be he'll be a very interesting speaker.
It'll only be 2 hours.
Yeah. And it'll all be done in 2 hours.
That's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
You heard it here first, folks.
What time does it start?
On the
10
dot.
a.m.?
10 a.m.
10 to 12.
10 a.m.
Excellent.
I mean, I'll cut off the Pope just to be sure we close by 10 by noontime, right, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Whatever you say, I'm with you.
I stand up and start walking towards you. You know that means you're done.
Right. I got to keep it quick, too. I'll be moving it.
Well, and this may also be a special meeting for you, Alicia, this year, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention it,
Yeah.
but it could very well be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
For more information, again, the quincydems.org. It's a great place
I'm
to go.
sorry, it's .com.
.com.
QuincyThames.com
Okay.
is where you want to go and find out all kinds of things about us and how to get in contact with me or the various ward chairs. If you don't know what ward you're in, contact me and we'll look it up and I'll tell you who you need to speak
Yeah,
to.
because there's been some redistricting in the city, so things have
Oh,
changed a
tell
little
me
bit.
about it.
Yeah.
I was redistricted out of Ward 2,
Mm-hmm.
which was for 35 years.
Wow.
And now I'm in Ward 5,
Mm-hmm.
Precinct 1A, and I vote out of the Point Webster School.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know some
In
things
the
have
heart
changed.
of Quincy
yeah.
Point.
Well, the 2020
but
census really changed everything. So.
They really
yeah.
did, and I understand that we were a city of many wards.
Right.
And I forget, was it in the late 50s, early 60s? I can't remember. No, it was later than that. I think it might have been the 70s. They reconstructed how we voted in the city, and they sized it down to 6 wards, but each ward must be as closely as possible equitable in the amount of registered voters
Right.
per ward, because
Right.
the old system, Ward 1 had 3 times as many voters as
Yeah.
Ward 6 did. This made it equal across the board. So the whole point to that little history lesson is that's why I believe they had to take a certain little piece out of Ward 2
Right.
and put them in Ward 5.
It's always
so
the
they'll
middle
be
ones that
equal.
get sliced and diced and
Balance it out,
everything.
Right.
Yep,
Right.
Quantum's always going to be Ward 6.
Right.
Yes,
House
because
cuts
geographical
as well,
nature of it. Yes,
The
exactly.
middle gets
Yeah.
cut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I hope
but-
you anything else we should let folks know about right now?
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Oh, it's
And
always
for all
a
that
pleasure.
you do for the city of Quincy. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah.
We're happy to help. So
Right.
I
thank you
remember going
both.
to JDA when I ran for rep. I don't know if I sat down with you. I sat there. It was 1992. Imagine that.
I was there.
Came in
so-
with Jake Comer.
Wow.
Maybe
Yeah.
you or Herb Fontaine. I forget which one.
Yeah. It's a long time ago, but I was 10 too.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thank you both. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Joe.
Thanks for watching us here at AM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. We'll see you next time.